Chelsea head coach Enzo Maresca has left Chelsea. He's been sacked on the eve of the Manchester City game. Ironic because he's being linked with that job. Happy New Year to everybody listening. Big up yourselves. Let me know your thoughts. Again, it's one where, you know what, it's a weird one because obviously, like many people, we've got friends that support Chelsea. I'm in a group chat with all of my boys that support all of the clubs, yeah. Me, and I'm just going to say it, as an ignorant fan, yeah, that's not a Chelsea fan, thank the Lord, and all of those kind of things. You're thinking, why? They're fifth in the Premier League after drawing 1-1 against Arsenal. They were fighting, they're fighting for a league. They're still in the Champions League. They're still in with a fighting chance of getting top four and aspiring for the league based on their own reports, and obviously fighting for a domestic trophy. So you're thinking, why? My hot take is, yeah, and actually, before I actually saw what David Ornstein spoke about, is for me, this isn't going to happen just overnight. Chelsea's form at the moment there's been a bit of rumblings. We all know about how the structure of Chelsea's functioning and their recruitment and things of that ilk, and obviously how their fans feel about that. I feel for Enzo Maresca, he was considering leaving a long time ago. And I think for Chelsea, they were, considering letting him go for a while now. And I think this is the time. Think about it. Because if we're saying they're fifth, there's still a lot of the season to go. You don't know who the manager's going to be. Everybody at Chelsea has to consider this. So that means they're talking with whoever they can to bring in, or they've got wind that Maresca was going to depart. I don't think much is going to change at Chelsea in spite of Maresca going, because, they need to all simply put sing from the same hymn sheet. They've been linked with Liam Rosiner. Obviously, Strasbourg is part of the blue group thing they've got. He obviously works with young players. There's a bunch of young players, more than we can count, being recruited at Chelsea. Maybe that's something they go down, but who knows? But for what it's worth, Chelsea Football Club and head coach Enzo Maresca have parted company. During his time at the club, Enzo led the team to success in the UEFA Conference League and FIFA Club World Cup. Those achievements will remain an important part of the club's recent history, and we thank him for his contributions to the club. You know what? He won stuff at Leicester. He leaves with them fifth and still fighting for what I'm sure was their goal initially in the summer of top four. And he's obviously made history, and he'll get another job. He's clearly, no man is perfect, but he's clearly one of those new age managers. He's been linked with the City job. So yeah, bit of a short one, but I just feel, simply put, the relationship has probably gone sour at Chelsea. And look what David Ornstein's saying. It's behind the paywall, but Enzo Maresca informed Chelsea twice in late October and again mid-December after post-Everton comments. He was talking to people associated with Man City about the Manchester City manager position if and when the vacancy arises. Chelsea contract obliged 45-year-old to do so. So he had to inform them. So we can't just assume he would have taken the City job. He might think there's unfinished business at Chelsea, and we can't just assume just because he's talking to City, it's like applying for a job. You might want the job, but there's other candidates. Company's going to be in the mix. It doesn't mean that he's the front runner, but he had to inform them. So they're getting wind that he's spoken twice in it. It's not like he shut down Manchester City immediately. So he's on joining them. And you know what? There's a reality where Chelsea, God forbid, but they got top four under him. They, won a league title, won silverware, whatever. May 2026, they sack him and whatnot. I feel, obviously, Chelsea are in a bad patch at the moment, but I just feel it's kind of easy to say they sacked him because of the form. I think the relationship between his bosses and him have gone sour. I don't necessarily think the players and obviously Chelsea. And obviously, when I'm speaking to my Chelsea supporting friends and family and looking online and stuff, there's a lot of people that are critical of Maresca's managerial methods, and all managers get criticisms. But I think even some have been apologists for Maresca. Some still don't believe he's the guy. I do think Chelsea fans have been united in that they do feel their manager has been hard done by, whether he's the guy or not, whether he should be sacked or not. They don't necessarily feel sacking this guy is going to improve stuff. They're quite critical at the moment about, the direction of the football club and the recruitment. We know they were all giddy the last few weeks. They're in a title challenge. Look what they did against Arsenal when Arsenal had an extra man than them. And it just feels like after that draw, they've been brought back down to reality. Like, remember they beat Barcelona and then they drew with Arsenal. That's where it was all mad. And then since then, losing to Leeds, drawing with Bournemouth, losing to Atalanta, beating Everton, beating Cardiff, but then drawing with Newcastle, losing to Villa, drawing again with Bournemouth, actually kind of brings them back down to reality. And it's a mad one, really and truly, on the eve of playing Manchester City at home. It's a mad one, really, that they've decided to do this now. But again, the games are coming thick and fast for everyone in January. So whoever the new manager is going to be, somewhat, I do feel sorry for you because you've got to hit the ground running. You'll probably just be another scapegoat. To be brutally honest with you, not that a new manager cannot change things, but I don't think it does much to change the direction Chelsea fans feel about their football club. You're spending a lot of money. There's not really, even though they did, now that they're back down to reality, they spend a lot of money. You look through that squad, they ain't really got much bang for their buck, really and truly, or you wouldn't know that's been £1 billion odd spent. It does look like it's a bit of a traders thing. It's a bit of a football managers thing at Chelsea, where sign young players. If they progress to the first team, great, but they carry resale value. Keep it moving in that regards. Like I would, you know what, a good pub quiz would be, yeah. Can you name every Chelsea player in that first team? Every one of those, whether they're out on loan, whether they're young and they've gone on loan straight away, whether they're like Sassy and Raheem Sterling that you kind of forget about. Look at the games. They've got Manchester City away. Fair enough, Fulham's not the biggest of games, but it's a Southwest London derby. They've got Charlton in the League Cup. Then they've got Arsenal at home on the 14th of January. Then they've got Brentford. Then they've got a Champions League tie against Perforce. Then they've got Palace. Then they've got Napoli. Then they've got West Ham. And then they begin February, with the second leg at the Emirates. So they're going to have to get things going. But it does look weird, man. It does look weird because on the face of it, it's one where you'd love to be a fly on the wall because what has gone wrong? Like I said, Chelsea have a lot of question marks tactically, question marks over Maresca, all of these things like every manager has essentially, yeah. But they're fifth. They're fifth on 30 points. You know, like I said, they've gone downhill. So the minute they start getting giddy about being in the title shout between Aston Villa, City, Arsenal, and everyone else and the team they've played, they fucked it up. They're out of it, really and truly. So it sucks. So what do you look at from a Chelsea perspective, from a domestic point of view? You know, it's only been 18, 19 games played, but you lot said you was in a title challenge and you've capitulated from the Leeds from the Leeds game onwards, or, you know, since being excited about beating Arsenal 1-1. So if Arsenal, whoever doesn't win the league, so if Arsenal win the league, everyone else bottled it. If Arsenal don't win the league and City or Villa do, everyone else bottled it. You get where we're going. But surely the task just has to be top four. And this is all assuming that things are going to get better immediately. You know, they've hopefully not. They've got 1 win in 5. So it's dark and it puts things into perspective because Chelsea were meant to, you know, be up there. At the end of the day, people have had a lot to say about Liverpool. Liverpool have leapfrogged them. People have a lot to say about Manchester United, rightly so, and Amorim. They're level on points. You know, Leeds isn't going to be easy, but Man United go and beat Leeds. City need to beat Chelsea to draw parity or cut the lead at the top with Arsenal. You get where I'm going with this. So they could further slide down the table. And that's before, you know, if Sunderland actually win, Sunderland leapfrog them. Like if Sunderland and Man United win, and depending on Everton, boy, it could be dark. It could be dark for Chelsea, man. But what a way to start January 2026, man. What do you lot make of this, though, man? Like, he's not the first manager to get sacked, but I didn't think it would end like this. I did think if it was going to happen, it would have happened in November, the earliest. I thought this would have continued to the end of the season, but unfortunately in life, you got to expect the unexpected. So did this take you by surprise? You know, if you're a neutral fan, Chelsea fans, did you see this coming? Because you lot obviously live and breathe the club. Let me know, man, because I'm trying to make sense of this.